welcome to this virtual summit. Hi, welcome. Good to see you again, and thanks for being here in the virtual summit. We have around 90 people with us live, with a lot of questions in the chat and the Q&A. So if you have any questions for Teddy, please leave them in the Q&A. So really great to have you. Could you, tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is you do?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, hi everyone. I'm Teddy. I'm originally Bulgarian, but I live in the Netherlands for the past 12 years. I've been in tech recruitment and talent management for 5 years now. I'm helping startups and scale-ups grow, mostly in the Netherlands. A couple of times I did it also for remote companies. And in tech, I mean, anything that you can think, from developers to scientists and so on. I help people find a job, and I find companies find people. So I see it from all the perspectives that are out there in the job market. And I love to help people to find jobs. Actually, I love to help them more than I love to help companies, but don't tell that to the companies. So I'm very excited to be able to share some of my knowledge today. I know that in our world, there are a lot of candidates, there are a lot of companies looking for people, and there are a lot of question marks about what are recruiters looking for, what are companies looking for. So please, let's make this a little bit also interactive. If you have any questions, drop it in the Q&A. I'm very happy to help you.
Great, thank you, Teddy. Let me start with my first questions. What are the latest trends that you see in the field of tech and especially data recruitment?
So I see that, well, basically it's the trend of the way they call it the war of talent. I think everybody has heard about it. There are more and more job openings happening in the tech world, digitizing. I think it's not even a trend anymore, it's a lifestyle. More and more companies are getting into data. Big data is a very big word. And what is actually happening is that a lot of companies are going on the wave of data science, big data, and all those buzzwords. But very often they don't know what they're doing. So it's very interesting to see how I have had clients that would tell me, oh, Teddy, please help us find a data analyst, and then we end up hiring a data engineer, or help us find a data scientist, and then we figure out that we don't need a data scientist because this is not what the person is supposed to do, but we actually need an engineer, and so on. So it's I see a little bit of a confusion still in this world. Let's see, we have a question.
I couldn't find my button for a second. We did actually already get some questions during the previous sessions that I think would be really interesting to ask to you, which is, I recognize the confusion, by the way. How do you look at online degrees now with COVID? Do you see a change in how it is assessed by companies? Is it valued the same as an offline degree, or do you see a difference?
That's a very good question. I don't have a direct observation on that, because most of the people that I've been hiring for, companies that I've been hiring for, haven't had explicit requirements based on education. What I can say for sure is that companies are really looking, when it comes to tech specifically, I'm not talking here about finance and marketing and things like that, but specifically in the tech industry, they're really looking for experience. You can have 5 degrees from the most amazing Harvard type of universities in the whole world. But if you don't have the years of experience, and I'm talking hands-on in the company experience, not pet projects and some hobby stuff, it doesn't matter. I see also a trend coming up. A lot of the recruiters and HR people, talent managers and everything, we're starting to push more and more companies to stop looking at degrees, because and maybe some people will, that might open a very big discussion right now, and I'm aware of it, but degrees are not relevant anymore. In my
What do you mean by
personal,
that?
What I mean by that is that you need to go maybe to university to learn the basics of some of some profession, be that computer sciences or okay, we're not talking about doctors here, obviously, but especially in computer sciences, you can learn so much things nowadays without even going to university, that it's irrelevant in the sense of what I said. You can have 5 degrees, but if you have 5 years of experience, that matters much more. I'm not saying don't go to university. Please do. If you want to go, you're going to learn a lot of things. But I can just give you a very simple example. I spoke to a developer a couple of weeks ago, and we're looking for a Python developer. And he never worked with Python, but he had a degree, a nano degree with Python. And that was not interesting for our team, because they said it's great that you have learned the basics, but we really need someone who knows how to work with it hands-on.
Yeah, so it's more about skills and experience than having a certain certificate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so how then, especially for starters, because if companies are mainly looking for experience, how do you start as a junior? How do you get in?
That's such this is one of the most frustrating things in my career.
I
It's
think
that
for many
closed loop.
people, because I see it in the Q&A and in the chat, so it's a thing. Yeah,
it's a closed loop. It's terrible, because they want you to have to have experience, but then in the end, no company is hiring juniors and help them learn. So yeah, where do you start? Okay, so I'll just tell you to work on your pet projects. So that's incredibly important. If you're a junior, you have to spend time outside of your working hours to work on extracurricular stuff. If you have a degree, if you have a nano degree or whatever degree, you learn something new, put it in practice immediately, because that matters a lot. And especially what I see a lot. Last time when I was talking with you, Christella, we had a guy that got in touch with me after the conversation that we had during the panel discussion, and he was in data science, and he didn't have a degree, and he couldn't get hired anywhere, and it was so frustrating, because he was a great guy and he knew a lot of things, and I advised him to go and look for a job in consultancies. For me, that's the best place where you have actually the biggest chance, because in startups and scale-ups, they look for people that are going to hit the ground up and are going to help them really bring the product to the next level. So it's not possible for a junior to get a job over there. Bigger companies, that's it. Just look at bigger companies, and often consultancies would invest in you to develop you not only on the skills, hard skills side, but also on the soft one.
And what do you, okay, so because that's what you're saying as well, that the soft skills are also important, right? Even also for the startups and how do you look at like, for example, MOOCs or more practical education or traineeships? What do you think of those?
That's really great. If you can do that, you totally should. Traineeships are the best way to learn, in my opinion, hands-on. They matter more than just the paper of the education that you got. And it opens you a lot of doors. The sooner you can start building relationships, and the sooner you build a network with people that know who you are, the better. It's a small world in the end of the day. It's not only because the Netherlands is small, but it's really a small world. So once you really get into the world of working, no matter if it's traineeship or whatever, doors are starting to open for you.
Yeah. So the importance of both soft skills, networking, I think it might be often undervalued, right, in the tech field. Yeah.
As well, yeah.
And many people in our audience are also wondering about switching careers to more towards
Right.
tech or to data science. How can someone sell their prior experience when they are switching careers as something valuable in a new field?
Uh, that's a very difficult question. The thing is that the reality, unfortunately, is that companies wouldn't care that much about your previous experience, because what they care is that they have a problem and they need someone to come and fix it. You can sell it greatly when you start with your career. If you're a junior, look at what matters in the position that you're looking for. So if you're a data scientist, then you have to do with data, and then that data you have to translate in certain ways, discuss it with the business as well. So if you have been a teacher before that, you're used to talk with people, you know how to present things, you're confident in front of public. That's gonna even help you to sell yourself in a consultancy company, because you can say, my students are the same like your clients. I've been convincing students to do things for many years. So for the same way, I can also communicate the right things to your clients. So you just need to take A4, write down the strengths that you think you have, and then translate them into what is needed into the new field.
Right. So really extract the skills that have learned in your previous job, in your previous experience, and apply it to the problem that the company you're applying for is facing.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna tell you another truth that's probably a lot of companies would hate me for saying it, but um, having great interpersonal skills, soft skills, and being cool, awesome, talkative person or whatever, especially into the tech world, gives you 10,000 bonus points. And this is the sad reality. I see how companies are evaluating, and I'm not talking only about my clients, I'm talking also about the companies that I interviewed as a candidate even 10 years ago. I've experimented even with that. On one interview, I'm just like very calm and I'm more listening, maybe asking questions, or another interview, I'm like all over the place with ideas and everything. And I see how people perceive it, and it's going to take us a very long time as HR people and recruiters to teach people to not be biased, and that it's impossible to teach someone not to be biased, but to get into their heads to look a little bit further than, oh, that's a cool guy or that's an awesome girl.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. We're going through our time very quickly. I think, like Lara saying in the chat, we're really hitting a nerve within the audience. I think it's a frustration that many people feel. One other
I'm
thing
so
was mentioned.
sorry.
No, that's good. It's getting their questions answered. One question very specific that a few people ask: do you ever look at, like, for example, people who've been in Kaggle competitions or other ways to? How do people
I
stand
love
out
it.
for you? Yeah.
That it's like, what is the audience? We don't have under 18 here, right? So I can.
I don't think so.
No, okay. Okay, I'm gonna say that if you don't invite me and anymore, I'll understand. But listen, if you go on those Kaggle competitions, you're tickling the balls of hiring managers. Straight on, honestly, like this is the eyes become like huge. Oh my God, this guy or this girl did that and that. It's again a biased thing, but it's a great way to show it. it says something about you. It says a lot about you if you're doing those things. It says that you're entrepreneurial, that you're competitive, you want to achieve things, you want to learn, it says so much things. It can be interpreted only in positive ways. So I even talked with some of my clients, and we were talking about setting up those Kaggle competitions in terms of employer branding to get data scientists. So it's definitely a really good way to draw attention to yourself, and put it also on your LinkedIn, by the way.
Perfect. Thank you. Last question, but maybe you've answered it already a little. Do you have any advice on people who are who are remote, who are not in the Netherlands, for landing jobs with the companies in the Netherlands? Do you hire remotely, for example?
Peeps, I'm gonna be very honest with you. 90% of the companies here in the Netherlands are not ready yet to hire remotely. So don't give up. Try to do so, to
And it's
apply, because
changing,
the
I
more
think, right? Now with COVID?
it, honestly, the only thing that I hear from the companies around me is, when can we go back to the office? And they're really talking about, when we go back to normal, that maybe we can work one day in the week from the office, or maybe from home. So a lot of companies are still not convinced about working remotely. I see a lot of talent actually from the Netherlands slowly exiting, because there are many more companies that work remotely outside of the Netherlands.
Okay, yeah, I think that's very interesting, because we have an international audience as well. So it's good for them to know. One last advice: if they do land an interview here, what is the best thing you can do in an interview?
So the Dutch culture is very well known for being direct, but when you're direct, they don't appreciate it. Sorry, Dutchies, but this is my experience. I'm not Dutch, so I'm allowed to say that. The best thing what you can do is be yourself, be self-reflective. This is something that I'm going to give you, no matter if you're a data scientist, in what world you're working and whatever. Self-reflection, knowing what your strengths and what your weaknesses are and what you want to achieve in the coming years, is going to serve you a lot. And if you're honest with the company that you're talking with, and they don't appreciate the fact that you said, my biggest weakness is that I am really focused on the details, and sometimes I really forget to have the big overview, but I'm working on it. If they reject you because of that, this is not the company that you want to work for. So be honest, because only the company that really would appreciate you will appreciate when you're honest about your strengths and weaknesses.
Thank you. I think that's very nice advice to end this session with. Would be great if you have the time, Teddy, if you could stay along to mingle a bit in the Q&A in the chat. There were a lot of questions for you. They are in the Q&A, and you can, if you want, type your answer. But if not, thank you so much for your time and for being here, for your honesty and your frank jokes. I am a Dutchie in that sense. I like it. So thank you.
You're welcome. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, just find me on LinkedIn, just Teddy Dimitrova. I do job coaching on the site. I have some free slots every week. I'm doing that pro bono, just helping people. So if you want to ask some questions, or you have need some advice, feel free to reach out to me.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Christella. Bye-bye.
Bye.